Face ID. Thank you. Keep me going. Okay. Help you, but he was good. Jess, you ready? All right, it's 6 p.m. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Commissioner Nichols, will you lead us in the invocation and the pledge?
Do it, sir. I can get everybody to bow their heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for allowing us to be here tonight to do the business of the county. Dear Lord, we just pray that you'll be with each and every one of us in this room. Dear Lord, we pray you'll be with our law enforcement, first responders, military overseas. And dear Lord, I just thank you for everything you do for Wakulla County and for America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We've got several opportunities for you to participate. We've got a citizens to be heard at the beginning, another at the end. You can speak on either of those items of your choice. Also on each individual item. Please fill out a speaker card with Miss Jessica for each item that you'd like to speak on. And when you come up, if you'll give us your name and your address, speaking to the microphone so the folks at home can hear you as well. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimous. We'll start off with our citizens to be heard. Mr. Bill Catalina. Welcome, sir.
Well, y'all know what this is all about. It's more of the same. About Steve Foltz and strangulation of Randall Dick. But coming back on last week, we had a question. I had an answer about, well, I'll just read it. That's the best way to do it. Can Wakulla County Commissioners fire a county employee or volunteer who has not been convicted for strangling a private citizen on private property where he had no authority? Answer: yes, felony conduct such as battery by strangulation is considered a severe violation of public trust and safety. Most Florida county policies allow for immediate dismissal in cases of criminal activity or conduct that puts others in harm's way, regardless of whether it occurred on private property. Number 2, the following are examples of conduct that is prohibited and subject to immediate dismissal in the Wakulla County Personnel and Procedures Manual. Section F, violence in the workplace. Number 1, causing physical injury to another person. Your airport manager's strangulation of Randall Dick qualifies him for dismissal. Making threatening remarks. If I had had a gun, I would have shot his butt dead. That statement by Steve Foltz qualifies your manager for dismissal too. Aggressive and hostile behavior that creates a reasonable fear of injury to another person or subjects another person to emotional distress. That one qualifies him also. Stalking, your volunteer's constant camera in face with both Randall Dick and Bill Catalina and his harassment visits to Mr. Dick's former home on Bay Drive and acquired home in Panacea to file a code complaint. Referring to the Florida incident-based reporting system of which I was a victim and was not invited to attend my own criminal hearing. Question: should a person involved in a legal proceeding be invited to his own hearing? Yes, a person involved in a criminal proceeding must be notified and invited to a hearing to ensure their right to due process. Proper notice is required and is mandatory. I was not notified by anyone, and both items failed of their own stupidity. At the next BOCC meeting, I'll comment on the tremendous benefit of privatizing the airport. The helicopter operation was a good idea. The FAA could be convinced that it be allowed to continue under a privatized airport. That airport is going nowhere because of its restricted placement. It should be allowed to continue as it has been for 63 years by a generous humanitarian donation to the county in 1963 as a small, enjoyable little airstrip.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next, Mr. Hiroshi Yoshiaka. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Hiroshi Yoshioka, and I am the treasurer of Wakulla 4-H Pet Pals Club. In Pet Pals Club, we learn about the different animals, their behaviors, and their needs. At one meeting, we learned how to make dog toys. This is what sparked the idea for our business, Tail Wagging Toys. My business partner, club president Riley Schaefer, and I make handmade dog toys and sell the dog toys that we make. We participated in a farmer's market at our school and recently worked with the Valentine's Festival with 4-H. We are grateful for the opportunities that 4-H has provided for us this year and want to thank them for their support. We had to test each of the toys that we made to make sure they were firm and tight. It has been a complicated and hard process. However, we have had many people helping us and we are very grateful. The purpose of our business is to raise money for the local animal shelter here in Crawfordville. The first time I went to the animal shelter, I saw how many animals were in need. I love animals and our world would not be the same without them. Our goal is to make sure the animals are well fed, hydrated, and healthy. We want to help make sure they receive the best care possible. I want to thank Wakulla County for helping make these opportunities available by supporting the 4-H programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Impressive. Next up, Mr. Chris Russell.
I don't have to adjust the height. We're about the same height. But hey, how about another round of applause for that young man? I mean, entrepreneur, the future, that is lovely. Congratulations to the whole family. So it's been over a year since I've seen you, so Happy New Year.
New Year.
Listen, I just want to figure out something. So spring's coming, and I need a new boat. The boat I have is over 2 decades old, 20-something years. It's 2-cycle. It smokes like a son of a gun. So I need to know how much my wife's going to get in kickbacks this year because I need that boat. Now, I fully support the constitutional right of individuals to express themselves. But we should be a little bit honest on that. But now look, she hasn't been around as long as y'all, so maybe, there's a catch to this. But look, seriously, the rhetoric needs to just tamper down a little bit, in my opinion. So that's really more for the people that are watching and exercising their rights. I applaud them coming there. I hope they come. I hope they come. I hope they come. I hope they come. They should exercise their rights. But let's just keep it in the lane, right? That's what I'm thinking there. But anyway, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for everyone that has showed up here to come tonight. And thank you to that young man and the future that looks so bright, thanks to him.
Thank you.
Next up, Mr. David Damon. Welcome. You got to follow that?
Man, both those last two are hard to follow. Well done. So, a lot of people show up because they're upset about the constant building and all the new subdivisions and the traffic and everything that goes along with it. And I think if there's a little bit better control over some of the things like the infrastructure and the traffic, and we didn't get so far ahead of ourselves so quickly, people wouldn't be as upset. I think they're also upset because every time they drive down a side road or a country road, or in the case tonight, people are upset about Jack Crum Road, which is way off the beaten path. And in that case, there's a big entrance to Lord knows what all of a sudden that was cleared, scraped clean, nothing left. And they're saying 5-acre tracts. I hope that's the case, and I hope we clarify to make sure that's the case tonight. I don't really understand why you need that great big old entrance. Maybe I'm missing something here. And why it has to look like a landing strip. And, you know, back in the day, not too long ago, they used to make curved roads. And it was a lot more interesting. But it seems like either the heavy equipment operators or the developers these days don't know about that. You know, how it makes it more interesting, like Songbird, you know, or the farm. And they used to leave buffers. Developers today don't seem to know about buffers. And they used to leave trees. They didn't have to scrape it clean because the equipment operators could go around trees. And I know they can today too. There's some good ones out there, but they're being told scrape it clean. Just go to the flag down there. Go to the flag over there, and go to the flag over there, and go to the flag over there. We don't want anything left. That's what has people upset. They're tired of seeing this. It seems like the builders, the developers would catch on. Just make it nice. Make it a quality thing. Sure, you're building a nice house. Nobody's saying you're not building a quality house, but you're not building a community. You're not building a neighborhood. You're just building a structure. This is more than just a structure. It's a neighborhood where people can walk down a sidewalk and get to know their neighbors, where they take pride. What they're building now is future low-income housing for Wakulla County. Think about that. 0 lot lines, cramming as many in as you can. People aren't going to take pride. And 20 or 30 years down the road, you ride through those neighborhoods down that straight road and turn and go that way, and it's going to be run down. People aren't going to take care of it. Crime's going to be up, and we're all going to pay the price for it. So I urge the builders out there to pay attention and do better. You can do better. They used to do better. You can do better too. And builders in South Florida, they actually have a package that goes with a home with trees, and you pick. And they do native landscaping, and they have somebody come teach you about it. It can be done better. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That ends our citizens to be heard. We'll go to awards and presentation. We'll have a partnership with Jacksonville Humane Society. Mr. Walter Class, come on down, sir.
Well, the young man with the 4-H Pet Pals gave me a great segue there, and I'd like to say that they came to our booth at the Valentine's Day Festival after they had sold their goods for the day and donated well over $100 to the shelter, so we certainly appreciate that. It doesn't go unnoticed. And it's community support like that that continues to make the shelter successful in our ability to engage the community, to provide them with services, to offer additional options for what they can do with their pets rather than just bring them, drop them off. And we've been able to do that through our partnership with the Jacksonville Humane Society. We're going to bring some exciting points to you about what that's going to look like and how we're going to develop that. So if you look at our presentation here under the Wakulla County BOCC Board, we'll briefly review our mission that we're responsible for protecting and the health and the safety of the public and animals through the enforcement of county codes, also the ordinances and regulations. But we also have to promote responsible pet ownership. We have to educate people. We have to encourage kindness towards animals. We have a responsibility to really raise the bar in the community to help people to appreciate that they have a responsibility to take care and provide for their animals as well. So by doing this, by being able to offer additional services, we're helping people to retain their pets, to keep them in the home, rather than having them enter the shelter and then into the system, as it were. So if we could have the next one. So I'm going to now introduce Adam Leith, as well as David Lynch. They're with the Jacksonville Humane Society to discuss more about the partnership that we're looking to engage.
Thank you, Walter, and thank you so much, members of council and commission. Mr. Chair, we appreciate you taking the time to hear from us today. We're excited to announce a very strong partnership between the Jacksonville Humane Society and Wakulla County. We've been very fortunate enough to be able to see your operation and work with you now for the last 4 months, and we're really excited to show you some of the results that we've been able to achieve with your partnership. At Jacksonville Humane Society, we have a statewide program. My name is Adam Leith. I lead that statewide program with my colleague David Lynch. Essentially, we provide direct grant support and operational assistance to shelters across the state of Florida. Wakulla County actually came to our attention because Mr. Walter here is very engaged. He actually came to a number of our training seminars and our conferences and started asking some very pointed questions about what he was hoping to try to do for his citizens and the animals with Wakulla County. So our next slide here, I want to talk a little bit about our opportunity. So our mission is to provide direct support through our grant-funded partners to those operations who are in need and who are looking at streamlining things that we can do to help provide direct care for the animals at the shelter, but also reduce things like cost, reduce the number of days the animals have to remain in the shelter, and remove barriers is what we're really hoping to try to achieve. So with our next slide. So you can kind of see some of those opportunities, and we've already been discussing that directly with Mr. Class and his team. Things to focus on our community cats, things barrier-free adoptions. We're going to discuss a couple of ideas that we have that we think you could be able to do to help support the county's animal shelter. There's 2 specific things we're going to talk about here in a moment that we'd like to be able to propose to you for consideration. With the next slide. That's going to be specifically the metrics here on Wakulla County.
Yeah, if you take a look at the board there, we have a population of approximately 37,000. Our agency took in 845 animals in 2025. When you average out our number of citizens compared to that, that makes us the 13th highest in the state. So for every 1,000 residents, we end up with the 24.7, or that makes us the 13th highest in the state when we average that out. Our social vulnerability index is very good for the county. We have a lot of accessibility to vet care. We have a lot of accessibility to provide for animals, but yet for whatever reason, we're very high in the number of owner surrender animals. So through our partnership with Jacksonville, we're hoping to explore that to see why that's taking place, and then to be able to extend and provide services to the most vulnerable citizens within the county to help reduce that number and therefore reduce the cost of the shelter, reduce the cost and care that it requires to take care of the animals by reducing the overall intake. So a few of the things Adam brought out that we're working with is our TNR cat program, also spay and neuter program, and providing services to citizens who might otherwise have to surrender their pet to the shelter and thereby avoiding that animal entering into the shelter. So our save rate, our average for 2025 was 87.7% of our animals saw a live release rate. Through our partnership, we're already seeing those numbers go up, and we'll address that as well.
I think it's interesting to compare someone that's maybe close by. So we took the moment here to compare on the next slide. You can see how Wakulla compares to Leon. I find it quite interesting that if you look at the intake per 1,000 residents, you have almost 17 animals per 1,000 residents that are brought into Leon County versus you have almost 25 animals per 1,000 residents that are brought in here in Wakulla. So we want to dig a little further into that. Why is that happening? We have a lot of data available at the shelter and wanting to study and dig in a little bit more. What can we do to reduce the number of animals coming into the shelter and allow them to stay where they belong, which is in the home? You can also look, the social vulnerability index is certainly much higher, meaning that there's less resource in your neighbor. You look at the number of percentage of SNAP benefits, and they also have a worse access to veterinary care score, which really is what we use in our industry to determine how likely is it that someone who has a pet that needs to go to the vet can find one or can get to one. So you see you guys are at 87, which is considered great access to care versus 61, which is much lower in a neighboring county. So we look at those kinds of trends and see what does that mean about your county, what does that make this county unique, and how can we identify solutions to help more people and more pets within your community. Next slide. So with that, I'm going to turn over to my colleague David Lynch to talk about some specific metrics about your shelter.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us. The next slides are going to be data that was pulled from your shelter database and kind of what we use to tell the story of the shelter. So this particular graph is a 3-year comparison for your intakes and your outcomes. So the first, the blue is your live intakes. That's anything that comes in as a stray, confiscated, owner surrenders. The orange, reddish color is your live outcomes. So that'll be your adoptions, your transfers out, your returned owners, things of that nature. And then the smallest bar there, the green, is your non-live outcomes. So that's any death in care, euthanasia, things like that. First thing we noticed was, it's great to see that steep decline from 2023 to 2025. Less animals coming into the shelter, always great to see. We started to see that spike coming out of COVID where, if we brought it out from 21, 22, and 23, we probably would see that go up a little bit. But things are starting to stabilize a little bit more. One of the things too is even though intake dropped from 2024 to 2025, the the live outcomes actually remained pretty much the same. There wasn't that much of a drop there. And what we did notice year over year was your dog adoptions increased compared to 2024, which nationally we're kind of seeing it flatten out. So you guys outperformed national trends on dog adoptions. And then most encouraging, that's the smallest part of it all, is your non-live outcomes. So shelter deaths and euthanasia decreased from last year. Next slide, please. This one is your monthly intake and how it affects the save rate. So the top bar there is your save rate, how many animals essentially came in left alive. And below that is intake. So traditionally what we see here is anytime there's a spike in intake, that bottom line, you're going to see the next month a decline in your save rate. And vice versa. And why we see that is usually around that April time, you can see that first spike. That's what we call kitten mountain. That's the beginning of kitten season when a lot of litters are happening and everybody's, coming in, oh my God, under my crawl space, here's a ginormous litter, please help me. So when we look at this is how we can kind of get ahead and help, Walter and his team, we're already doing a phenomenal job, prepare for what's to come. Next slide. And then length of stay. So this is length of stay divided up by species. So blue is cat, orange is dog, and then the total is in green there. Obviously the length of stay was significantly went up from 2023 to 2024 for cats, but then has dropped by almost 10 days compared to last year. And we're hoping with the implementation of a community cap program, and we'll have a slide in the future that kind of shows what we've done in just the last 4 months to that length of stay. Because as that goes down, that's less care days. And when we see higher care days, you see higher incidences of illness, possible deaths in care, costs go up. So as long as those numbers go down, I think we're spending taxpayer money in a more responsible way.
I think what I found to be pretty enlightening about this entire process is just in the last 5 months, you've reduced a length of stay, which is the number of days that every animal is in the shelter, divided out by the number of animals. So that average length of stay was at 28 days. You're now down at 11. So that's reduction in the number of days, the cost savings, the people, all the resources necessary to hold those in a building aren't necessary.
And then you see the dog length of stay did go up. That's something that we also see nationally. Dogs are staying in shelters longer. And we will explore with Walter and his team and with you guys as well, ways to reduce that, whether that's, looking at the reduction in adoption fees, barrier-free owner reclaim programming, things of that nature. Next slide, please. And then, so just like Adam referenced, so this shows right here the difference in just a snapshot of since our partnership began, and we really hammered home our TMVR return to field program. So when stray cats come in that qualify, they look healthy, they look happy, they look where they're they're really thriving in the environment they're from. Well, let's get them spayed or neutered, vaccinated, and then return back to where it's practically their home, whether that is someone's neighborhood where they go breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and maybe even a fourth meal at midnight from all the different residents in the community that really care about these cats. And we've seen here, so the top part there is the save rate again, and then below that is the cat length of stay. So just in the last 4 months of this year, you can see that really falling off the cliff and that save rate increasing. So this program is not only beneficial to keeping the capacity down, keeping a more healthier population, but also helping increase life saving in the community. And really kudos to Walter's team for embracing that. Next slide. So some of the things we're suggesting and working with this year, this is kind of like the goals that we will hopefully have by the end of this. We're looking at a decreased length of stay. Animals coming in, not staying in the shelter system for a long time while leaving with more positive outcomes. Increased number of outcomes. How can we, the more really encouraging thing we saw was that the number of outcomes as a percentage, the percentage of outcomes being really heavily focused on adoptions, really, because the best, answer to the animal welfare problem in a community is the local answer. And your community has really responded, as we said, with the increase in dog adoptions. And then hopefully, keeping pets in the homes that, they already love them, they already care for them, but they may need, some assistance is providing that safety net. That's ultimately, what the shelter is there for. Next slide. And this is just a total breakdown. So on the left, you'll see Wakulla, the percentage of intakes based off of how many are strays, owner rehomes, how that transfers in. And then to the right is a comparative analysis of shelters, just like Wakulla are in a similar population, rural, urban classification, and SVI. The amount of strays that are coming in are pretty similar. You guys, and we talked about this earlier with the per capita per 1,000 residents intake. Many more owner surrenders coming in than compared to a similar shelter. And we're hoping to dive into this a little bit more. How can we help support those pet owners in need to keep their pets in their homes rather than having to rehome them? Next slide. And then this is the same chart just with outcomes. So very diversified compared to the national average. An increase in transfers, and then there is an opportunity to grow the adoption base, which again we'll talk a little bit more about that. Next slide.
So this is the point where we bring a couple of ideas for you to consider. One of the things that we noticed early on was the inability for the shelter, when necessary, to reduce or waive fees, which is something very common that animal shelters do. So for instance, if you have a dog that might be a little more challenging to adopt, or maybe it's been at the shelter for a long period of time, someone coming in and then now having to pay a fee actually creates an additional barrier. And while we do understand that you're paying, the taxpayers are paying for that pet to be in the shelter, not giving it an outcome then means that they're going to continue paying for it to be in the shelter for an undetermined number of days. So reducing or eliminating fees is something that does happen specifically for adoptions in shelters today at the direction of the commission to the director of your department. So one thing that could be an option, certainly participating in large adoption events, which we are hosting every year. We do our mega adoption event in Jacksonville. Last year we adopted 2,000 animals in 3 days, and we had over 12 different agencies from across the state and longer coming. In order to participate in that, they have to be able to be fee waived. We don't want individuals who are interested in adopting to have to pay a fee in order to do so. So that would give you additional ability to participate in fee waived adoption events. And then the last is the reduction in your stray holding periods. So one of the things that we noticed as well is a lot of shelters who have, this is the 3 or 5 or 7 days. Here in Wakulla, you have 5 days. That's the time that you give an owner to come in to potentially reclaim. We actually know that most owners don't. Nationally, less than 2% of cat owners and dogs, less than 22%, come in and reclaim their pets from the shelter. The best outcome for them is to not come in, but to actually support them where they are. And so what we want to be able to do is to reduce that stray holding, allowing Walter and his team to be able to find adoptive outcomes faster. So rather than having to stay in the shelter for 5 days and then be able to go to adoption, he can put them available at adoption that immediate time, which would be 3 days. So reducing that to a period that reduces the amount of animals that are being in the shelter, allows them to go out of the shelter faster. Next slide. This is Walter.
So just for a moment, I'd like to discuss the reasons why this is important in our partnership and looking forward to progress the department. If you look at the example here, this is Casper. Casper is a dog that is located in Panacea, Florida. He has a very loving owner. She called me with a very challenging call earlier this year. Her dog had been attacked by another dog in her own yard. The dog suffered a severe eye injury. Her options, she went to some private vets. Her options were a few $1,000s or euthanasia. She couldn't pay for either one of those options. So through our partnership with Jacksonville, we were able to offer her an option. That option was to provide surgery and to neuter Casper. He didn't have to come into the shelter because we were able to extend those services through those grant funds that we received through this partnership. By doing that, we made a successful outcome for Casper. We helped a citizen who was in need. She had cared for this dog many, many years. It wasn't something that she wanted to do. She just didn't have options. So the more options that we have to offer people in our community, the better our outcomes will be, the lower our costs will be, and the brighter our future will be, because when we can stop these animals from entering the shelter, then we don't have to care for them. We don't have to provide for them while we're looking for another owner. So we're looking at several innovative ways where we can change the shelter, we can change the structure, and how we're going about our business, because there are ways for us to progress. There's ways for us to see advancement and provide the citizens with additional services without ramping up costs.
And I think that's all. We would entertain any questions that you have.
Well done. Questions? So what do you recommend as far as the reduction of fees? Just a sliding time scale? And obviously, if you got a challenged dog, that may be different. But, is there a standard recommendation for that?
Yes, sir. So we would actually not have the entire fee schedule changed, but rather delegate the director's ability to reduce or waive a specific fee for a specific animal. So giving him that ability when those situations come up, rather than changing the entire fee structure and the entire system, but having that ability to do so would actually increase their ability to go to offsite adoption events and be able to increase the number of animals that leave.
And a follow-up on that, and this may be more for Heather, but I'm thinking along the lines when we have a hurricane and we reduce building permit fees, we still have to offset it. We still have to pay it out of local taxes. Would that be a similar thing, or is that just a discretionary reduction he can make?
With building permit fees, you're constrained by state law.
So we wouldn't have a similar constraint there. Okay, very good.
Mr. Chairman, I ask, do you guys have a match program with regard to if you have a local organization that wants to give? Do you guys do that, or are you strictly to us with regard to money?
I'm not sure that I fully understand the question.
That's okay. Live up here. You'll be. If the board or Josh and I were like, hey, we want to give you $100, this is for this, do you guys trump the fee schedule at the shelter itself, or we still donate? Do we donate to you or to Walter? How about that?
So there would actually
Get back full circle.
There would actually be no need for money to move at all.
Okay,
so
perfect.
What would happen is in a specific instance where a dog that needed to move quickly, or you were participating in an event where you had 15 or 20 animals all available for adoption,
Yep.
Walter would say, hey, this is going to be an event that qualifies for fee waived, and they wouldn't charge the public for those
Got
in
it.
that instance. So there wouldn't be any need for any monetary to move it at all.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are currently working on adjusting the administrative regulation and making some adjustments, and we're going to propose a fee adjustment for that, which would be more in line with moving the animals quickly. So that's something that we hope to present later this year.
Very good.
Mr. Chair, the dogs that we're sending over to you guys now, is there any monetary change there, or are you just the ones you're adopting out, like we're sending over to Jacksonville?
We actually have not received any.
Y'all haven't received any yet? Okay.
We actually don't. We actually don't receive any funding. We're providing all of this directly through grant support.
Okay.
So anything that we would help or that we would find placement for, there's actually no cost. The other things that we're providing is some of those surgeries that happen. In fact, we did have one recently with a dog with a large tumor at the shelter. So we were able to get through Walter and your connections here, that foster to get that pet over to Jacksonville. So we performed the surgery, so there was no cost. So we were just in a position to provide resource. We're actually not asking and don't want any resource in return. We want to provide the resource locally.
Well, thank you.
Quite generous. Does this require, moving forward with the partnership, does it require any kind of interlocal agreement, or do we formalize anything, or how does that?
So, no, sir. We actually don't require an MOU. We're providing the resource directly to your partners. So, for instance, the veterinary clinics that you heard of earlier, we're just providing grant funding to that clinic, and you have a running bill that we're paying off. Or if you have citizens that come in or other issues that come up, rather than funneling that through the county, we're paying directly the vendor so that you still receive the support without all the additional red tape.
Perfect.
Any further questions?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you. We
We have a couple of items that I wanted to pass out, if I may approach.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Welcome to Wakulla. We appreciate your
I
assistance.
love the spring. I'm actually vacationing here later.
Thank you.
Love your community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Walter.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you.
All right, that ends our awards and presentation. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Do
Motion to approve.
we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimous. We did not pull any consent agendas for discussion. No general business. Public hearings. Next, we'll go to planning and zoning, item number 11.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an application for a change of zoning R2509. There we go. This application requests approval to change from R1 to cottage commercial on 2 parcels of land totaling just under 2 acres over on 25 Sable Palm Drive and 33 Sable Palm Drive. In accordance with the code, each commission member needs to disclose any ex parte communications you may have received regarding this application.
None.
Just emails.
I spoke to Kenneth Russell and then the emails.
None.
Emails.
Emails. I mean, yeah, emails, but
And the emails are in the record.
Yeah.
If there's anyone here who's going to provide any information regarding this application, please stand up to be sworn.
Is an opinion also part of it?
If you're going to, sure. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thanks.
As Heather indicated, this is an application for change of zoning R25-09, which requests approval to change the zoning from R1 to cottage commercial on 2 parcels of land totaling just under 2 acres, located at 25 and 33 Sable Palm Drive. The future land use designation is urban fringe, and the proposed zoning district is intended to promote small independent craft and cottage industries, primarily including arts, crafts, artisan food services, cafes, small specialty retail shops, and similarly related services, which due to lower intensities are designed to be compatible with and closely resemble nearby residential uses. The property is currently developed with 2 single-family dwellings and located in the X flood zone. The proposed zoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan, the land development code, and the Crawfordville Town Plan. Staff is recommending option 1 for approval.
motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Ms. Sue Damon, come on down. Welcome.
Thank you, commissioners. Have any of you driven down that road to see what that area looks like?
I have it.
Quincy? You have? Okay. Beautiful dirt road, nice neighborhood with some very nice houses. On the north, south, and west, it's all residential, R1, right? Part of the east is R1. So you've got a lot of residential going on there. And the more you guys expand for commercial, now they call it cottage commercial, which sounds quaint, but what you're doing is you're bringing a business into this neighborhood. And it's these people's livelihood. This guy stood up here on November 17th, I think, and he talked about how much he loved living there, the wildlife, the trees. And when you start creeping in cute little cottage commercial, you're going to have a lot more traffic there. You're going to have more lights. You're going to have more noise. And then the next house, there's no reason to stop there. You just continue on. So that's basically it for me. I just feel like this isn't the right thing to do. I think we have commercial space up the road. This guy can go up the road. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Wade Brown.
Put together a vicinity map to kind of explain what this is actually abutting. It's
I'm gonna walk up here to it because it's a little bit fuzzy. Hand up a little bit. Okay. So this is our subject property that we're looking at. Abutting it immediately to the east, sharing a boundary line, is your Crawfordville and Mason's Lodge. Also on the east boundary line is the American Legion Post. Also on the east boundary line is the Crawfordville Women's Club. This is, in fact, a county-maintained right-of-way that the property sits on. And then across the road, and to the east a little, is your Panhandle Primary Care, Olive Tree Family Counseling. You skip a lot. You have recently cottage commercial rezoning that's going on here. And of course, all this is commercial going south. You can pan them down a little bit. And as a crow flies, it flies straight from here to the livestock pavilion. We're about 728 feet away from that. You got Wakulla Realty, and of course you got Hudson Park. So this neighborhood is not really no stranger to commercial activities at all, historically, currently. And of course, all the public gatherings that go on at Hudson Park annually, like take for instance, last Saturday, it's not a real quiet neighborhood if you want to go there, but we feel like it meets the, you know, it flows with the neighborhood as it has been historically. And we feel like it fits in very well.
Thank you, sir. Discussion from the board.
I have a question for Brandon. Sorry.
No, you go.
When was this zone cottage commercial?
Cottage commercial was created with the Crawfordville Town Plan. It is one of those zonings that is intended to be within our core district, and again is intended to promote commercial uses within residential areas. It actually does have design standards that go along with it as well to accomplish that, such as only 3 parking spaces can be in the front, the rest have to be located in the rear of the building, and then any development that goes on here would be required to go through the commercial site plan process and meet all of the landscape and buffer requirements.
So I am correct, it is cottage, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Josh.
He just answered a couple of questions about the parking. Do they, I know there's homes on both sites. Are they required to keep those homes, or can they take the homes away, or are required to use them as is, or?
So at the time, the homes would be considered existing non-conforming structures. So as long as they continue for that use, they're able to be maintained. You know, again, if they wanted to come in and start a commercial business, they'd be required to go through that commercial site plan process. But the homes could continue to be utilized as a home until that point.
That's all I got. You answered the other question in the parking.
Further discussion.
Can I ask Heather?
Yes,
Chair?
please.
Could you just clarify our liability with comp plan change and rezoning?
This is a rezoning, so when you're considering that, the burden is initially on the applicant to show that they've met all of the requirements of your code. And then once that burden has met, it shifts to you all to deny a proposed rezoning. The burden would be on the county to present competent substantial evidence on the record demonstrating that maintaining the existing zoning will serve a legitimate public purpose and is not arbitrary, discriminatory, or unreasonable. And competent substantial evidence is just relevant fact-based evidence that a reasonable person would find sufficient to support the conclusion.
Further discussion. So I've got something. So our agenda item did not include the regulation for what a cottage commercial is.
Yes, thank you.
So I do want to read the first sentence there. The provisions of this district are intended to promote small, independent craft and cottage industries adjacent to parks in Crawfordville Core District. That's where I have a problem. This is not adjacent. It's in the vicinity of, it's near, it's in the neighborhood. As Wade explained, it's normal in that area, but we don't meet the definition of the very first sentence in the regulation that it has to be adjacent. I have voted for some of those others that were adjacent, that were on the road frontage, but this is not adjacent. And I believe that will be my basis, my competent substantial evidence for voting no for this tonight.
So it says it's required to be adjacent, is that what it says?
It says the provisions of this district are intended to promote small independent craft and cottage industries adjacent to parks and crawfish. I mean, simple definition of adjacent, it has to have a common side, common border. So I think an argument can be made that that is not adjacent. Now, if that changed, might be a different story. If it said needs to be near the park, needs to be within so many feet of the park, that'd be a different story. But I don't think we're meeting the definition of our regulation. Further discussion?
Well, if it doesn't meet the regulation, so if I wanted to pull my motion, could I do that at this time?
Absolutely.
If it doesn't meet that regulation of that, because I didn't catch that, so.
So if it doesn't meet the county code in the board's estimation, then they haven't met their initial burden to even have the burden shift to the county, because they've not shown that, they've not put forward that prima facie case.
Is that your understanding of the definition? It doesn't meet?
Well, it does say adjacent, and I could defer to Brandon on this, but adjacent can mean that they share a common side. It could also, I think if we look at the dictionary, it will also state that it could be near or close to. So, that's
It also
something-
says intended. I mean, I don't know the definition, the law definition, but it doesn't say required.
I don't, you know what the code, the actual language?
So Commissioner Thomas did reference the language from the code, and again, with adjacent, it can be bordering or near. So this, is very close to our park and downtown within the core district. And again, that cottage commercial is intended to promote commercial uses within a residential area.
And if you give me a second, I'll pull up. I can.
But if it says adjacent, I mean, in my mind, adjacent means adjacent to the park.
Commissioner Thomas, Wade wants to come up.
Come on up, Wig.
I mean, I deal with this a lot surveying, but the word contiguous, I would agree with you. Adjacent, I would say no. I mean, adjacent doesn't necessarily mean it's one and the same boundary. That's my take.
Thank you.
So, and I'll just read that first sentence verbatim. The provisions of this district are intended to promote small, independent craft and cottage industries adjacent to parks in the Crawfordville Core District.
Mr. Chair, can Wade come point out the property again on the map, please?
Yes, please.
This is the subject property. Here is the park. We're in proximity. Is it contiguous? No, it's not, but none of these are contiguous. Real estate. That would be the same boundary line, but in my mind, it's in there.
Jason refers to properties, lots, or structures that are near, next to, or joining each other, but do not necessarily share a common boundary line. Often used interchangeably, neighboring, or nearby as distinct. And continuous or abutting, which specifically mean touching.
Mr. Crum, yeah,
I'm sorry, but
you can speak, but you'll need to be sworn in and,
If you want to speak, you can.
yeah.
I mean, I'll just share the definition. with
Does he need to be sworn in?
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And if you will, just fill out a speaker card when you're done with Jessica.
Yeah, so in real estate, adjacent refers to properties, lots, or structures that are near, next to, or joining each other, but do not necessarily share a common boundary line, while often used interchangeably with neighboring or nearby, it is distinct from a continuous or abutting, which specifically mean touching or sharing a border. So that's the sort of definition.
So my problem, if we take that loose interpretation of the definition, where do we stop in that neighborhood? If you can hop to one, you can hop to the next, because they're all near. And I think, in my mind, the cottage commercial was to have a frontage business representation, because, most people don't want to live on that road anymore. Obviously, they're selling it and it's turning into businesses. I think that's fine. But I think if we're going to jump across that neighborhood, And if that's the goal, maybe that we need to, change the future land use map for that entire neighborhood, but that's not what we're here for tonight.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna err on the side of caution and pull my motion.
All right. So we have no motion. Do we have a new motion on the table?
Don't we have a residential, I guess it's okay to have a residential lot between commercial lots, like on the frontage there? Could they rezone that lot, I guess, eventually into commercial?
Like the women's club?
No, the across.
That one that's right
One
between the
beside
two.
Panhandle Care, yeah. It's zone residential still.
Yeah, I think that,
Because it fronts it, they could zone that one,
I think so.
even though it touches commercial on both sides.
Your issue is adjacent to the park.
Yeah. And I think if you open that door, you open that entire neighborhood. If you want the back lot in there, then there'd be precedence that any of them are in near proximity to the park. Maybe we need to clean this up. Maybe we need to define adjacent.
I think that would be much better.
Is there going to be a motion to deny it based upon the board's determination that they have not met their initial burden of showing that they've complied with all of the...
We need to take action one way or the other, correct?
I'll make that motion that we deny it, but that we clean this up for adjacent.
Wait.
So when we talk about cleaning it up, what are we talking about cleaning it up to? Just so I'm crystal clear where you go.
Well, to define adjacent to where we're not kind of lingering on back into the subdivision.
What I'm hearing is that the board, the more limited definition of adjacent, that it needs to share a common frontage or side with the park in order to put some guardrails on how far cottage commercial can seep out away.
Well, that way we don't just keep creeping into a neighborhood.
And
That's my concern.
and the motion is based on the fact that it is not directly adjacent.
It is not
sharing a
directly
side
adjacent. Yeah.
with the park.
And like I said, I'd rather err on the side of caution.
Do we have a new motion?
You have one on the table right now.
I've got,
You did?
Yeah, I did,
Motion to
yeah.
deny? Okay. Do we have a second?
Can I just table this? I mean, are we
That's
gonna
his
try to get some
discretion,
clarity
right?
on this further down the road, or
That'd be great. I mean,
made up right here?
So you're withdrawing your application for tonight?
Okay.
Yes, sir?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wade.
So David didn't get to speak. Would you like to speak anyway? I don't know. Do we still need to swear him in since it's been withdrawn, Heather?
Swear him in. I swear.
Don't swear at us.
So I think the argument to this thing, and I agree with you, Ralph.
I love it.
February 17th, 2026.
I love it when you say that.
And Sue does too. Let's mark this day. But it does make sense what you're saying, that the idea, the intent is for those facing the park to be little businesses. And you know, other communities do that, and we see it when you travel, you see little cute cottage industries. But creeping back, that's going to be another issue. And where does it stop, as you pointed out? And I think that was what had a lot of people frustrated and worried in this neighborhood. So I'm glad you clarified that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All righty, so we will move on to planning and zoning item number 12.
This application requests board approval to conduct the final public hearing and requests board direction regarding adoption of a large-scale comprehensive map amendment to the Comprehensive Future Land Use Map CPM 25-04. The application requests adoption to alter the future land use from agriculture to rural 1 on a parcel located on the north side of Jack Crum Road, approximately 0.85 miles east of Coastal Highway, and further identified as Lot 3 of Gray's Estates subdivision. The property contains just over 30 acres. The current future land use designation is agriculture, which allows a density at 1 unit per 20 acres. And the proposed land use of rural 1 allows for a maximum density of 1 unit per 5 acres. The current zoning district for the property is agricultural, which allows for single-family dwellings and mobile homes at a density of 1 unit per 5 acres of land. The property is currently designated as both the flood zones X and A. Backroads Consulting completed a natural features inventory and wetlands delineation in August 2025 and concluded that the property has no wetlands, karst features, surface waters, or regulated and listed species on the site. Furthermore, the subject property was reviewed by T.G. Ernest & Associates, and no cultural resources were documented for this site. The requested Rural 1 land use would be consistent with the comprehensive plan and the properties lying to the east and west of the subject property. The property is contained within the state's Basin Management Action Plan and located in PFA 2. Central water and sewer connections are not currently available on Jack Crump Road, but do exist along Coastal Highway. Under the current BMAP standards, all new septic tanks located within the PFA must be nitrogen-reducing systems. And again, staff is recommending option 3 for board direction.
Very good. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Several citizens. Mr. Kenneth Clisby, please come on down, sir.
So it's Kenneth Clisby. I live on Tiger Hammock Road. Actually, Mr. Thomas, you had a great segue into what I wanted to say. This zoning change on cottage commercial, this is no different than what they're asking to do to amend the comp plan. The state, I looked up the comp plan, what a comp plan is in the state statutes. Part 163.3177762H says the comp plan is to prevent urban sprawl. Well, this is exactly urban sprawl, is exactly what they're asking to do here. And again, I'm going to quote you, Mr. Thomas. It's opening the door.
My night, huh?
Opening the door for future development in an agricultural area. Mr. Nichols, you didn't want to approve the comp plan because it's creeping into, or the cottage commercial, because it's creeping into the neighborhood.
But you have a residential neighborhood behind it, that's why I didn't want to do it.
I understand that. Okay. But it's exactly the same thing here. You're creeping into agricultural.
In your opinion, Mr. Clisby?
Yes, sir, in my opinion.
Okay.
And several things I see wrong with this. They can come back, they could do the comp plan, I believe, is supposed to be reevaluated every 10 years. That's what I read by state statute. If they could come back and request, or at that time you could change it. I don't think this is a time to be changing the comp plan. These people, these contractors don't need more lots. Actually, just a quick search on the county's website. Golden Construction has 44 lots. And they got another 6 pieces that total 125 acres. D.R. Horton has 237 lots. Misting Springs has 59 lots. Pafford has 300 lots. So what's the point of this urban sprawl? That's about all I can say is I'm against it, and I think you're opening the door for even more. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Next up, Mr. Chad Smith. Come on down. Welcome.
How y'all doing? All right, well, y'all already kind of figured it out with the cottages. We just keep creeping, and Jack Crumb is absolutely no different. Guys, we can dense this up in the middle of Crawfordville. It's already pretty bummed up as it is. Why can't we keep these things centered? Leave the outskirts alone. We're on the other side of 98. This is by the high school. We shouldn't be doing this. This is not a good idea. It's opening this huge door to go, okay, well, here's Jack Crumb. It's open now. Let's go ahead on and run it, folks. This is a large money-making scheme somewhere, somehow. I don't know how. I'm not pointing fingers, guys. There's more to it. Obviously, there's some benefit somewhere, some way that somebody has to start approving these large neighborhoods. We've got neighborhoods everywhere. Roads are packed. Our roads are horrible. Our schools are packed. There is so much more to this. Why do we keep building neighborhoods? Why do we keep allowing this? It's supposed to be what's in the best interest of the citizens. This is not in the best interest of the citizens, or the wildlife for that matter, okay? We've got to focus a little more, I think, on what everybody in this community is saying. Shutting Facebook comments down just drowns out the noise, folks. Everybody's been pretty noisy about it. That's why they got shut down. We all understand that on this side of the podium, okay? That just opens this huge door to where it's going to be, okay, let's change this one. Okay, all right, we can do this. Oh, there's another 300 homes over here. Well, if you take 300 homes and put 2 to 3 people in each one of them, well, now that whole road's jam-packed, and now the high school's a big ordeal, and we're going to have fatality wrecks every week over there. It's just over and over, we're seeing it in different places. You drive around this county, it's a cleared lot, and we're throwing this up, and we're throwing that up. Oh, there's 300 more homes over here. There's got to be an end to the madness. I understand y'all have a job to do, but the citizens got to be in mind. We need a voice. We need y'all to hear us and actually do something with that. Jack Crum is beautiful. I have people that I've known my entire life that own land over there. It's fixing to go to hell in a handbasket. You open that door and it's going to be one after another. Because, oh, well, we did it over here. Why can't we do it across the street? Oh, let's do it right next door. Might as well. There's already 300 more. Can we just focus on the center of Crawfordville if y'all want to throw up a bunch of houses somewhere and let people do whatever they want to do? I understand y'all ain't pulling the trigger and y'all ain't throwing up these buildings, but it's being allowed. At a certain point, we got to go, hey, that's not good for the community. Can we do something better with our funds and our time here? Yeah, that's a great piece of property. Let's build something good there that the whole community can use and love. Let's not throw in 300 more homes and allow that many more people to come in here to jam-pack the roads, the schools, that can't go to Walmart. I've been to Walmart in 3 years. My wife goes. I don't go in there. I will not go in there. I refuse to.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all have a good night.
Mr. Andrew Riddle. Welcome.
It's been a minute.
It has.
It's been a minute. Finally found my way back in. Last time I was here, I spoke. This time I'm here speaking again. I got a question, and you all know my history, but for everybody else who doesn't know my history, I spent 6 years on the Planning Commission. I was the chair of the Planning Commission for almost 2. The question that I've got is, when is enough enough? I asked that from my seat where Mr. Thomas is sitting right now when I was there. When is enough enough? We have hit a point, and first of all, let me say one thing. I've got nothing against Robbie. I've got nothing against his company, the development. I have no dog in this specific fight. Mine is the overall fight on this in the county. And when you talk about opening the door, I have vivid memories of we approved Chadwick Estates, and within about 6 to 8 months, Summerfield and Palmetto were approved. And those are right on top of each other, right next to them. If I remember right, both Chadwick and Palmetto extending the boundary out further. They talk about opening the door. That's a very real thing. And we look at it, schools are full, traffic is a nightmare, our infrastructure does need to catch up. And when can you guys actually make a decision where you can make a decision that holds, where you don't have the burden that you have in other decisions right now on the comp plans? I mean, I'm asking you, please think. I mean, this one's already gone through 99% of the process. And if anybody understands the process, it's me. When we're looking at them, you're going to have more comp plans coming before you. Look at them. And when is enough enough? When do we have to sit there and say, okay, we need to pause? We need to let the community catch up. I mean, I don't know any of y'all have seen the last reports, but Crawfordville Highway's widening. The last I heard, they're forecasting a finishing of that somewhere around 2060. I'm not going to live to see that. If that happens in 2060, if they complete it in 2060, I will be 94 years old. So the odds of me living to see that are slim. But when we talk about things, growth and things happening, we're not going to be getting the infrastructure we need.
Thank you, sir.
In the plan. So
thank you very much. Mr. David Damon.
Thank you, Commissioners. David Damon. So, Wakulla County, a natural place to be, right? That's what we're telling everybody, and that's what they come for. Yet, the sprawl continues. You do not have to pass this, though I think it's already a done deal because they put that massive road through there, the entrance to what looks like a massive subdivision that may join the property behind it and wrap around the high school, I think at some point is the plan. But for now, to develop that area is more sprawl. You know, if somebody bought a 5-acre tract and they build a house, I don't think anybody has a problem with that. But it's these subdivisions. It's the constant subdivisions chipping away at the quality of life. People moved here and have lived here a long time, like myself, that came here because it was a rural place. It was not a lot of people, not a lot of infrastructure. It was great. We didn't even have a traffic light in the county when I moved here. I've been here a long time and I've seen it change big time. And I don't think there's any requirement that you have to go along with the comp plan change. You don't have to do it. You can pause. This could be the night that you say, wait a minute, we've got all these lots, they've got these lots they haven't yet built on. Why do we need to have more of it out there, away from everything else, away from the sewer system, away from the town plan in Crawfordville? You're packing them in as tight as they can be. Leave it the way it is in Crawfordville. You can't undo it. It's already trashed out. There's no, I mean, you drive right across from the courthouse, there's a brand new building, that tin shed. Really? Where David Moore's place used to be. There's no architectural control. There's no control whatsoever. People are building whatever they want, and it's going to look like Perry in another 20 years when you drive through there. That's what we're doing. If we didn't have a tree ordinance on the commercial, God knows what it would look like. It'd look exactly like Perry. We need it on the residential too. But we're out of control. I mean, is this the quality? Is this the best we can do? You guys, many of you were born and raised here. Is this what you want for this county? Really? I'd like to think that you've got a bigger imagination and can see how it can be. If you travel somewhere else and see how they do it, take notes. Some are worse, but there's a lot of them that are doing better, and we can do better. And we don't have to continue just to go along and rubber stamp everything because your buddy the builder or your buddy that contributed or because there's just pressure from the other commissioners. You don't have to go along with this. And it is exactly like the cottage thing that was up here earlier. It's exactly that way. You're infringing on an area that wasn't zoned for that. When they bought the property, it was not zoned for what they're trying to do. They knew it when they bought it. They don't have to have this change, and you don't have to go along with it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Alan Lofton. Welcome.
Thank you for being here. I'm Alan Lofton, live at 335 Jack Crum Road, which is directly south of this proposed zoning change. They've already put their road in, which is going to apparently be a 60-foot road. That's right. And rumor is that these 5 lots, the property, 30 acres on one side, 20-something on the other, 100 on the north side, are eventually going to tie into this one road and dump onto Jack Crum Road. And we don't want that. And how would you like for us to go out there, Josh, and put 100 homes there next to you? It's not what that area is for. And it's just, it's ridiculous. Most people that have sold land out there have sold 20-acre tracts. Gary Crum, everybody else. And the traffic on Jack Crum Road now is horrible. You can't hardly get on to Highway 98, 319. Sometimes we have to go and go up and turn around the high school and come back the other way. So you imagine what another 100 or 200 homes out there will do. I know there's only 5 planned here,
Right, that's.
But there's more coming.
Yeah, I mean, we're only talking about 5 homes.
Yeah, so once we make it where this easement, this road goes in there, that's all they can handle is those 5 homes. That would, they're not gonna do any more, that would be fine. Say, yeah, do it, but only those 5 homes. That would be a way to say, hey, you care about what's going on there. Yeah, I can understand folks trying to make money and stuff. I used to do a lot of that land clearing and those right of ways. I was one pushing trees out there. So, but don't do it on Jack Crum Road. That's a nice place. People move there because of that. My neighbor bought our old home place just because he wanted to be there. So, around, away from the crowds, privacy, and stuff like that. I live half a mile south of there. That landfill, there is documentation where the pollution, the water pollution, is moving to the north. And there's also a restriction to a well being within 1,500 feet of that landfill. Mr. Edwards said it's just that piece of land, but if it was just that piece of land, they would say you can't put a well down on that land. But it says 1,500 feet, which goes 2/3 of the way up this piece of property. So, you know, people need to know that before they buy that. If you don't believe me, it's in the record. It's in the county records. The soil samples, the well samples will show you that that's the nitrates and the iron and arsenic are just off the charts.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wade Brown.
So we prepared a plat or sketch or concept for y'all to look at tonight of what we're proposing to do here. We're proposing 5 lots within this property. 60-foot wide roadway, that's a standard roadway for your subdivisions. That's what's required by Wakulla County. Also 15-foot wide easements either side of the roadway, which is for your Duke Energy or Alpine Electric. That's what they require. That's why there's such a wide right-of-way there. Each lot would be 5 acres plus in size, minimum of 5 acres, but these will be larger than that. This will be a paved road dedicated to Wakulla County, built to Wakulla County standards. That's what we're proposing with this land use change. And the land use change that we're seeking is only for 5-acre parcels. It will not allow anything any less. And we're maintaining the existing agriculture zoning. So we're not changing the zoning out here. So, and I don't have it on my sketch, but if you noticed on the other plat, we're going along with what's either side of us for the most part. Those tracts over there are not 5 acres in size on either side of us. One of these might be. But most of those are more like 3, 4. Some of them are 5. But we're staying within the realm of what's going on Jack Crum Road. And be happy to answer any other questions.
Sir. Mr. Robbie Miller.
Yes, here for questions.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Robbie, would you come up? So is it your intent to leave this as a 5-acre?
Correct, yeah.
There's no other intent
That's right.
to
It's
it?
not a pass-through road, it's cul-de-sac, go in, go out. It's agricultural, urban sprawl is something completely different. It's agricultural development. This is low-density development, not high-density. That would be urban sprawl, just to clarify for the people that were confused.
Okay.
What about the land north of it?
Who owns the land? Do you own the land north of it, Mr. Robbie?
We're here talking about 30 acres.
Answer
Do you own the land north of it?
I do not.
Okay.
I own one piece of land on Jack Crum.
Do you have a contract on it?
Sir, you had your time to speak. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Question? That's it.
Your intent is to start construction once you, everything done, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Nikki Skonkovic? My apologies. Straighten me out.
I'm Nikki Sponekovic. I live in Panacea, and I just wanted to reiterate that for the same reasons that a lot of those before me have said, I'm opposed to this. That area, this is part of the Nature Coast, and I don't think that approving this would be consistent with the character of Wakulla or its status as Nature Coast. There's already a lot of impacts on the water and wildlife over there, and as many before me has mentioned, there's a lot of infrastructure issues here in Wakulla. So adding additional subdivisions in that area when the schools are already overcrowded, there's already been reductions in services like the trash and recycling programs. There's just not enough that's protecting residents that are already here in ways of infrastructure and maintaining the nature and the character of this county. I just think it would be irresponsible to approve further subdivisions in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ms. Sue Damon, last speaker.
Thank you, commissioners, and thank you for the cottage commercial. Okay, what I wonder is, like Alan talked about the water from the landfill or the dump. What happens if the water is moving north and you do have those 5 homes there on Well? And what happens? Will the county get sued if all these people do wind up sick? Is that something that you're willing to take on? Is that even something that could happen? Because this is your decision tonight.
I don't want to take up your, Mr. Chair, can I speak for just a second? I don't want to take up your time, Ms. Damon, but I'm going to read something. And the reason I'm going to read it is because I had a lot of citizens call me that listened to a lot of the stuff that we were hearing earlier about the school being too full, about this water and all, because you got to remember something. This is the stuff we get. And we get this as commissioners, and this is what we get to look at, and that we have to go by the data. But I don't want to take up your time.
I'll give you more time.
All right. Would you?
If you'll restart the clock.
So I'm going to give you what we get.
Okay.
What we get. This is from DEP. The Office of Intergovernmental Programs of the Florida Department of Environmental Protection has reviewed the above reference amendment package under the provisions of Chapter 163 Florida statute. The department conducted a detailed review that focused on potential adverse impacts to the important state resources and facilities, specifically air and water pollution, wetlands, and other surface waters of the state, federal and state-owned lands, and interest in lands, including state parks, greenways, trails, conservation easements, solid waste, water, and wastewater treatment. Based on our review of this submitted amendment package, which would be the one that he submitted, the department has found no provisions that, if adopted, would result in any adverse impacts to the important state resources subject to the department's jurisdiction, DEP.
And the subject's jurisdiction is the underground water?
It's underground water, yes, ma'am.
Because I know one of the emails you got was from Sean McGlenn, and he is he owns his own water lab, and even he was concerned about the water. So I just wanted to bring that up, just so that.
Yes, ma'am, but I just want you to understand what we see.
Thank you, thank you.
What we see. Mr. Chairman, can I read one more for you?
Okay.
So, and the reason I want the citizens to understand what we see and what we get, because we get beat up with this all the time, especially on social media. So I kind of want you guys to understand what we see and what we get. So I had staff pull this because this come from Robbie's where he sent this up to the state, just like anybody can do that wants to try to have something done to their piece of property. This come from the Wakulla County School Board. The Wakulla County School Board has developed methodology to project the number of students, stations which will be created in which unit of residential development. This methodology is based on the 2020 census and is updated as new census projections are published. Based on this methodology, the development you referenced in the proposed comprehensive plan amendment on an existing subdivision will generate the following student stations when the project is built out. This development parcel ID 0000091 goes through the whole thing, Jack Crum Road, will generate one student station at the elementary school, Medard Elementary, one at the middle school, Wakulla Elementary, and one at the high school, and that's Wakulla High School. This parcel is a 30.42 acre in size and is located on Jack Crum Road. The proposed amendment will change the land use to Rural 1, which would allow 1 unit per 5 acres for a maximum of 6 units. Okay?
Okay, I wasn't going to speak on the school.
I know, but we get this a lot. You know, we get beat up about this a lot, and we really have nothing to do with the school other than what they report to us.
Okay.
So I want to make sure the citizens of Wakulla County understand this is what we see. So when somebody comes in here and says, well, that school's maxed out full. Well, not according to the Wakulla County School Board. You see what I mean?
Got it. Got it. You know,
I'm sorry.
No, that's
I give you
fine.
back your time, ma'am.
Thank you, thank you. And speaking of that, in your packet, it also had included in here, you all did a study in 2017, and that apparently we were built out until 2035. Did you see that in your packets? Mm-hmm. So just something else to bring up. And I certainly don't criticize anybody for wanting to make money, but he did purchase this property knowing exactly what it was. And you got to take a chance. Most people, you've got to take a chance. But when you take the whole comp plan that we have worked on, our county's comp plan, and you upheaval it because you want to put 5 homes in there, that's not right. You're affecting everybody. You're affecting the wildlife. You're affecting the water. Let me see. I think that's all I wanted to say. I do think that, I don't know your name, but I do think that he has plans. Well, I don't know this. I understand he's got property north of there. So it could be 1 per 5 now, could be something different, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here today just to please, don't do this. It's bad enough in this county. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That ends our citizens. Do we have any discussion from the board?
I just wanted to basically say the same thing. That I guess Ms. Damon was referencing the 2017 residential needs analysis plan that says that, I can't read, sorry. Determine that there's adequate density to accommodate future growth through 2035 without any future land use amendments. Like I've said before, I applaud the 5 acres. I think it's one house per 5 acres. I think that's great. We need more of that. But just because of this needs analysis that we paid for, the taxpayers paid for in 2017, I feel like we don't abide by it. So does this, do we need to do another study? I mean, that's my problem with it, and it has been since this has been brought to us before. And this is a comp plan change. So we're not bound and tied and bound, however you want to say it, to approve every comp plan change, but just to discuss it.
There's no discussion.
I have some comments, not necessarily discussion. So when we first started getting the barrage of emails about this, I got on DEP's website where you can actually look and see how many people, where they live in the BMAP. So most of the people that started in this thing lived in the BMAP. Then I went through the second round, not the ones that were copy and pasted, the other ones that people took the time to either call me or email me. And it was very interesting to me that out of 24 emails, I'm not saying that they moved, were not already here, but they had moved. The latest one was 2026 from those emails. The methodology for schools, Brandon probably doesn't have the answer to this. I'm curious about that, and I'm going to reach out to Mike or whoever I need to reach out to with regard to, has our methodology changed since WEC has closed with regard to the elementary schools?
That's something you would need to get in contact with Mike Barwick about.
And then the state agency reviews were no objections, except I did read that the applicant was going to put in the restrictions and covenants that they would have to have bear-proof trash cans. And the compatibility thing, we've already been through that. And I did have a question for Wade, if I may. I'm sorry, this was more than a comment.
Take your time.
Wade, were you the person that was the agent for a large-scale comp plan amendment in April of 2021 with Aaron Parsons and Robbie Miller? Do you remember that?
Where at?
So, yeah, that's what we're talking about. So I went and did some homework, and I was just curious about that, and I'll do some more tomorrow or whenever we need to do this. Maybe, was Wade, do you remember that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. And may I ask Mr. Miller a question?
Yes.
Or Wade, whomever. So when I pulled that large-scale comp plan amendment, can you tell me, I have here in my notes that it was, some of that was zone agriculture about 1,000 feet away from this large-scale comp plan amendment? Does that ring a bell at all?
Where, yeah.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
I got one question for one of you. Has the water been tested on this property for the wells?
Well, we were issued a well permit by DEP
Well,
on the
then,
side.
so you've been issued a permit? I mean, they
We
approved
have
it?
one well permit on,
Okay,
just to see.
gotcha.
So on the well, so we were issued a permit. They don't just issue the permits. You know, they know all about that dump. They have the monitoring wells. They know where that contamination's going. So they don't just issue them. If there was any question of it being too close, they would go on site and they would measure. And there would be, a lot more effort put into it before that permit was issued. Past that, once the well's actually installed, to get a final on the well, it has to be inspected and tested. So it's not like the well
By the state?
drilled and in use for a resident. So, yeah.
The DEP gave you a permit and they also have to inspect?
And then they also inspect it after it's installed. Yeah, all the water quality, everything.
Thank you.
Yep.
Further discussion? So I've got some comments also. So I don't see the comparison of this to the cottage commercial that we just had. And for this reason, the question is this consistent? I've heard for years people come up here and say, at least make it 5 acres. I don't know that I could name another 5-acre subdivision that has been built in recent years. So I applaud you for that. I think that's good. I don't know that, they're not readily available, and you're only talking 5 homes here. There's a lot of folks that have contacted us that think that this is just a massive development, and it's not. It's 5 homes, so we appreciate that. So looking at whether it's consistent for the area, if you turn off of 98 and turn on the Jack Crum Road, between Highway 98 and the subject property, there are 22 parcels that front the road.
That was before the comp plan.
And those 22 parcels, 15 of them are 5 acres or less, and some of them are as small as about 1 acre. And so it's really hard to make the case that a 5-acre parcel would be inconsistent in that area when 68% of the parcels from Highway 98 to the subject property are already 5 acres or less.
Not
And
worried
so-
about that 5 acres.
I understand.
Worried about what comes after.
That's a fight for another day, sir. I can't predict the future, and we can't make a decision on what may happen. We have to look at what's in front of us right now. So when I look at it and say, is 5 acres consistent? Obviously it is, and I agree that predated it, but there are also people who have subdivided for a family, and they've cut off a piece of the property after the comp plan, and so they have that legal right to do that. I do think that 5 acres is consistent there. I understand your concern, but I think he's met the requirements, and I plan to vote yes for this.
What about restricting that road to those 5 acres?
Sir, we can't do that at this point. We don't have any mechanism to do that. Further discussion? So we have a motion to approve. We have a second. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay. That passes 4-1. Thank you all. That ends our planning and zoning items. We'll go to commissioner agenda items.
Commissioner Thomas, I have more.
Public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Planning and zoning, tab 13.
All right. This item requests board approval to, whoops, sorry, wrong one. This item requests board approval to conduct the public hearing and consider adoption of an ordinance amending sections of the Land Development Code pertaining to zoning district regulations and self-service vending businesses. At the October 6, 2025 BOCC meeting, the board agreed for staff to bring back an amendment to the Land Development Code to add freestanding ice machine as a conditional use within the C2 zoning district. The C2 zoning district allows for a variety of commercial uses as both principal and conditional uses. All uses classified as a conditional use must be approved by the Planning Commission.
A motion to approve to conduct the public hearing and consider adoption of an ordinance amending sections of the Land Development Code pertaining to zoning district regulations and self-service vending businesses.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any citizens? Hearing none. Discussion from the board. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimous. Now we're done with planning and zoning. Jump to Commissioner agenda items, tab 14, Commissioner Nichols.
I'm going to request the board approval to direct staff to draft an ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the Wakulla County Land Development Code to define an automotive sales. Stand by just a moment. And under my analysis, automotive sales appears throughout the code in many of the commercial zoning districts. Providing a definition for automotive sales would better allow staff to enforce the code by providing a clear definition for what may or may not be allowed within certain zoning districts. And at this time, I'm going to go to option 1 for approval, to direct staff to draft an ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the Wakulla County Code to define automotive sales.
We're just defining automotive sales.
We're defining automotive sales. And just, Mr. Chair, can I speak? And what brought this up is Mr. Vito is wanting to sell vehicles, but he's wanting to do it based on you calling him, you tell him what you're looking for. He goes to the auction, finds what you're looking for, purchase it, brings it back, and then you purchase it from him. We all know occasionally something's going to fall through. And the reason I want to define it is so we don't get a car lot, if per se. I want to define it to a certain amount of vehicles so he can put that vehicle there, clean it up, and move it. And that's what brought
Not have 20 of them.
Not have 20 of them. So I want to put, get it on record that we define it and what it is and the amount of cars.
Mr. Chair, may I ask Commissioner Nichols a question? Was that your motion, or you need somebody to make a motion?
No, that is my motion, ma'am.
With regard to storage space of said vehicles, so these are going to be constantly moving?
Yes.
Okay, and they are going to be on commercial property?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll second your motion.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good.
We needed that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All righty. That ends our Commissioner agenda items. County Attorney.
Nothing additional.
Thank you, ma'am. County Administrator.
Yes, I have one thing. I'd like Ms. Delana Johnson to please, she's going to give a short presentation on our new sewer billing system that became live this month. And her staff have done a tremendous job trying to figure out a mess, and they've straightened it out, and we've got a new system that will be really good for our customers, our citizens that are on sewer. It'll help actually bring it into the 20th century or 21st century, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, Delana, without further ado.
Good evening. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and show you guys and our citizens some important new features that are available in the new sewer billing software. So what you're looking at now is basically the home page of the customer portal. So when a user logs into the page, this is what they see, and they can navigate through the entire customer portal from this page. It's a new user-friendly interface. Before, they were very limited of what information they had access to on their account when they logged into the customer portal. So they can review their account information and billing history, and they also have the ability to link multiple accounts. So that's helpful for rental properties. When a person has multiple rental properties and they're managing those accounts, they have the ability to link those together and see all of the information for the properties that they own. As of today, we have 601 users registered in the new customer portal, which is substantially more than we had using the previous portal. So one of the important things that we want to let citizens know about is the communication. So now with the new customer portal, they have the ability to manage their communication preferences on their own. They don't have to call and ask us to change anything, and it's also increased the way that we can communicate information regarding sewer account status to our customers. So they can go in and elect different preferences they have and how they get the notifications. So they can get it by email, robocall, text message or printed notifications. So, and then obviously they have multiple. Previously, all we could send was a statement and then a late notice. So now we have multiple different items that we can notify our sewer system users through the system. We are encouraged citizens to sign up for the portal because there are certain features that we cannot sign them up for. And one of those is the communication preferences. Due to some requirement, they have to actually opt in and enter their phone number to sign up for the text message communications. So if we can go to the next slide. So one of the long-awaited things for the new sewer billing software is the ability for our customers to go in and sign up for auto payment. I know that I've heard that a lot since I've been here. So as of today, we have 229 customers that have taken advantage of the ability to sign up for auto payment. We are currently working with finance on the future of ACH, but it is available today for credit card payments. So they can manage their payment methods directly from the customer portal. They can set up the auto pay. Auto pays are going to be processed on or after the 15th of each month. And they also have the ability to split payments between accounts if they need to do, which they could not do before. Also, one of the new features we have is our updated customer statement. The graph that you see on the customer statement shows the actual billed usage, not the actual usage. We've had a lot of customers under residential cap that come off for the winter months average beginning with their January bill. So they are able to go in and look at their meter information and calculate their own actual usage to see how much they're saving when they're on a winter months average or on a residential cap. The information fields are clearly defined, which is one of the things that I really appreciate in the new software, because before the information was just kind of out there and you didn't know what it was or what it was exactly for. But information is in clearly defined fields, which I think is more helpful for the citizens when they're trying to read their utility bills. So the new bills also reflects adjustments. So as of today, we have performed 32 adjustments for sewer users that have brought in receipts. They have found leaks when they come off their winter months averaging period, and we work with them to adjust their usage so they're not paying a high bill for the rest of the year based on that winter months average. But they can see that adjustment directly reflected on their bill, exactly how many gallons it was and how much money they saved by bringing in those receipts and having that leak adjustment taken care of. We also have a new option that's available on the bill. It's not on our website, but on the bill they have the option to pay by phone 24 hours a day. So they can call into an automated line and they can make their payment by phone. We also have the ability to relay important information. There's a custom message field that we can change at any time. But I'm super excited about the software itself and also the future potential that it has for development moving into a more electronic age. I think it is going to benefit not just the county but also the citizens greatly. So I just encourage if any citizens have any questions about their bill, they can call our staff at any time. We've been fielding in quite a few calls with questions, and we're willing to answer any questions that they may have. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions?
I got a few calls from some people, but y'all took care of it, so thank you.
All right.
One more thing, when you sign up for that, do you still charge like the fee to use your credit card?
There is a processing fee, so we have a merchant account agreement, but the merchant account fee is lower than our previous merchant fee. The previous merchant fee was 2.9% and the current fee is 2.5%.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Delana. That's all I've got. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Delana.
Citizens be heard. Jessica? Thank you very much. Mr. Andrew Riddle.
I will defer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Discussion items from commissioners.
Zero.
Nothing further.
Nothing for me.
Nothing tonight, just still working on some traffic stuff with DOT, and I'll be, next meeting, I'll put it out.
Good.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion
To adjourn.
Motion.
Stand adjourned.